Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Julie Smolyansky. She's the President and CEO of Lifeway to discuss how the company is supporting its community navigate COVID-19 by providing healthy spaces online. Julie, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thanks for having me.
All right, tell us more about Lifeway.
Sure. Lifeway is a company that was founded over 33 years ago by my parents, who were refugees from the former Soviet Union. And with them, they brought a traditional ancient healing beverage known as kefir. It's a probiotic yogurt-like drink, almost like a smoothie. It's a fermented drink that has over 2,000 years of history. And my ancestors believed that it aided in wellness, in immunity, in longevity, and they reported that they felt better when they consumed it. And so this product survived by storytelling, by word of mouth, by our grandmothers and great grandmothers sharing this ancient recipe, passing it down generation to generation, and really intuitively knowing how to heal their gut. We're hearing a lot about gut health right now. In 1908, Elie Metchnikoff, who's a microbiologist, won the first Nobel Prize for his work around the research he did with people who consumed kefir and cultured fermented dairy products like kefir. And he found that actually there was immunity that was gained from the consumption of kefir, and that all of your immune system starts from the gut. So we've learned that now, that like 70 to 90% of your immunity starts in your gut, in the cells within your gut. And even mental health, we are seeing a lot of trauma right now in our communities. It's something that we've been talking about and really interested in for, really since the beginning of the conception of Lifeway. And we now know that serotonin is 90% of it resides in the gut, and that there's even studies that show that kefir can help mental health and reduce stress, depression, and anxiety. So, these are really two important things that we're talking about, that it feels like this time is really an opportunity to learn. And it's like a portal. Like, we're really open to hearing this message right now. And so, this is what Lifeway has been working towards for over 3 decades. So we're really optimistic that, people are ready to make some interesting lifestyle changes that are accessible. I think being accessible is key.
It's really interesting that your ancestors were so ahead of the trend. Superfoods is clearly something that it's a big thing in the food space and drink space right now. So certainly ahead of the trend. Let's talk about COVID-19 and how it impacted Lifeway.
Sure. Well, we really immediately knew that our most marginalized communities were going to be impacted the most by a lockdown. We know that, in Chicago, over 30% of kids in the Chicago public school system report food insecurity or feelings of food insecurity. We know that our elderly communities wouldn't be able to get out into the grocery stores, and there would be a lot of fear. So we immediately reached out to all the various community organizations that we've worked with for many years, and stepped up all of our contributions and donations to make sure that all of those organizations were supplied, were well stocked. We saw huge surges in demand, both in grocery store as well as all of our food pantries. And, we supported all of these, various efforts to get kefir into the hands of healthcare workers across the country. And this was really challenging, moving perishable product around the country during a shutdown when there is so much unknown, and it's such a fluid situation where protocols are changing sometimes by the minute, was really, really challenging. Securing PPE for all of our team members to make sure they felt safe, and just learning about this disease and illness, and keeping our team members safe. And that was it was not easy, but I
Yeah.
would say that I'm really, really proud of everyone. Our number one priority was keeping people safe and then making sure that food remained on the shelves of grocery stores and that food pantries were supplied. I personally went to Wrigley Field, which was turned into, it went from a Cubs playing stadium with lines around the blocks for people to come watch games or concerts, headliner concerts, to now it became the Chicago's Hunger Crisis Response Center. And I was able to, personally distribute food to many and kefir to many first-time food pantry visitors, cars of families, parents and children, parents who've just recently lost their jobs. And you could see that these are first-time visitors. So it was really sobering. It was really motivating to know that, we have such a great purpose right now to bring immunity, to bring wellness, to bring hope and inspiration to our communities, for people to know that they are not alone, that they are being supported by companies like Lifeway that are stepping up and increasing their response to this crisis, because this is impacting everybody. And
Yeah.
I think what it is showing us, and what we've seen from the very beginning, is that our most marginalized communities and the disparities with access to health or access to be able to social distance, access to lifestyle, and what we're seeing is that the people who are dying from this disease are the people who don't have access to healthcare, who have diseases of lifestyle. And how important it is that actually the tool that we have right now is prevention and increasing our own immunity, and that's why the accessibility is so important. And it's one of the reasons why we wanted to get kefir into the hands of healthcare workers. We wanted to do everything we could to support the frontline workers who were really getting the most viral load. That was really, really important to us. And they often didn't have and don't continue to not have time to sit down and have a meal, have some protein, nutrition, probiotics, all really, really important in the fight of this disease. I really believe, and from all the consumer data and IRI data that we're reading, people want to feel that they are in control of their health and their wellness, and that they can make choices that can lead them to a better, healthier, stronger immune state. Yeah.
Yeah, Julie, it's really quite remarkable to see how quickly you led your company to pivot its operations, and even more remarkable, the donations and the healthy spaces that you have created to help lead our society into a more healthy place. So to wrap up here, that's what I want to ask you. On the other side of COVID-19, I'm hoping lessons have been learned. I hope people start to understand their health, appreciate their health, recognize that prevention not only does it help with the spread of disease, but it's also going to save at the end of the day. Do you think we've learned anything on the other side of COVID-19? What does it look like to you?
I do think that we've learned some things. I think that that one of the biggest things that we've learned is that racism is a public health crisis, and that we are only as strong as our weakest links. And it's up to us to make sure that everyone has access to healthcare tools, to self-care tools, to healing modalities. That's what makes our society stronger. I think we are going to I think that the needle is really going to start to move on accessibility uh, to some of these kinds of self-care treatments, to healing, to just a better healthcare system overall, a better mental health care system. This COVID-19 has shown us that we are not alone, that we are being supported. And I guess I just think that, the level of stress and depression that so many folks have felt, that there is still, that we see them and that they're not alone. Um, you know, you can feel either isolated, or you can think, you know, there are opportunities to get better. There are opportunities to heal. There are things that we can each do that, you know, can make us feel like, you know, our kids don't have to go through this again. And it'll also teach us that we're really strong, that we're really resilient, you know, that we can do the hard things. Um, and I think, you know, there's a place to celebrate all that we've learned as well, and kind of the reclaiming of our lives, um, and our health and our wellness. And I don't know, it feels like, you know, I'm very optimistic, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that's encouraging to hear. Hopefully we do get a silver lining and focus on that. Great to speak with you, Julie. Thanks so much for joining us on Trade
Thank
Talks.
you. Thank you.
All right, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.